So what are the things that your companies are doing to to retain employees, retain top talent in your organizations?
What we do at ASI is we have a profit sharing plan, as I told you before, with a floor above which we do pay a bonus to everybody in the whole plant. We also like to do a lot of training. One of the major thrusts that we're going through right now is teaching innovation. DBIRC has a program, and there are other programs, but this one is especially interesting because it's taught locally on teaching innovation. We try to keep our employees of that mindset, be open-minded, because we live on innovation. We're competing with the rest of the world, even though we're very small. We compete with China, Taiwan, Europe, and so on. And we've got to innovate continuously to stay ahead of the competition. I will also say that I have an arrangement similar to Bill's arrangement with regard to John Cross, our top guy that operates the company as president. And he also knows that someday the company may be sold, and we have an agreement with him where he will, depending on EBITDA, will get a portion of any sales of the company, any revenue from the sale of the company. And that's an open-ended question. It's over the next 3 or 4 years that the EBITDA growth is adjusted so that he would participate in the sale of the company if that happens. But John is our top guy, and we're not a very big company, and he's the only one that has that kind of an arrangement. So that's about my story. Go ahead.
Top talent, retain them. We've had an unusual experience with our benefits plan with our ESOP, and it's an ESOP, but it's owned by a trust. And this particular plan has been quite enriching. And we've had a lot of clerical folks and people that are lower level that are part of the plan that have left the company with 6 figures multiple times over. And so our succession plan is continuous because that happens every year. Our evaluation is about this time of year. We publish the number at the end of June. They have until July 31st to let us know if they're going to stay or not. And we have, I wouldn't say an average, but it's been 10, sometimes anywhere to 8 to 12% people in the plan leave. And so we have to plan for that constantly. So it's a constant turnover. Again, it's a good thing, but it has some negative connotations. But the one thing that, not with just that particular benefit, but on health benefits too, I take care of that part of our program. We want our employees to not have to worry about other things in their life. And so we have a very generous health benefits plan. Again, in some of our facilities, we have 5 different facilities, so there's 5 different cultures, 5 different plans that we have to work with. But the basis of the plan is that they don't pay anything. They have a small deductible. They don't have any access. It's not a pay-for-payroll system, and it's very low out-of-pocket expenses. So we just hired a person, came in, we hired him. He's got a little bit more than what he was making at another company. He said, not only did I get more money coming in here, but I got a $4,500 raise because I don't have to pay that to access health care anymore. So, those are some of the things we're trying to take the worries off the employee so they can focus on their work and be successful in the work. We actually have people coming to us saying, we want to work for you. We've hired at least a half a dozen people in the last year and a half say, I want to work for Bradford White. And so, it's been we don't really have to do a whole lot because we've been doing a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Welch says get rid of the bottom 10% every year. We monitor the turnover. The turnover is reported not just to the managers, but to the entire company at the quarterly, monthly meetings by the president. And so it's something we pay very, very close attention to. To keep people, we pay 100% of the health care. We have other benefits. We have 401k. We contribute to that. And one of the primary things is we pay more than the competition, and we pay more than the local area. And that's one way to do it. As far as it goes with the top talent, the top management team, there are 9 people in our equity participation plan, which means they get a piece of the action when the company's sold. Our harder part for keeping top talent is in our field engineers and stuff, because there's such a demand for what we do. We're involved with shale gas and all. That's why we're in Calgary. And so there's a great growth in all of that. So it's to keep those people and keep current with the pay scale. So we have a recruiter who handles basically that type of person. And so there we have to find different ways and create programs. And the programs are not just the pay scale, but the continuing education and certification program. So we pay attention to it just about every day.
It sounds like we're fairly similar to most of you guys. We've got a strategy around benefits and compensation in total. We want to be very competitive and on the high side of that against our competitors. We too have a profit sharing program for all employees, and then for the exec team and other hand-picked individuals, I've got a non-qualified program, so it's outside of any defined benefit plan. We've identified the key roles within the organization, and it's not just the leadership or management pieces, it's technical leads and others within the organization, and make sure that we work those roles to make sure we've got people ready to move in case we've got turnover or growth. And then the last one I think is, it hit us a year and a half ago or so, is really others in the organization need to have involvement and inclusion, right? Be part of setting the direction and be a part of where the business is going. So we learned that one, and that's been pretty big for us.
Right.
Pretty good learning.
I think most of the group has really alluded to some type of like deferred compensation arrangement, and we've really seen a lot of interest in that. In particular, I would say over the last 5 years, a lot of folks looking at deferred comp kinds of arrangements, and putting some vesting into those kinds of scenarios so that you've got something to try to keep folks around. The one other thing that I would mention too that I know that we do here at Kreischer Miller is one of the other things about retaining people is just how you handle and manage them when they're here. In our environment, you've got a host of bosses that you work for because you work for a bunch of different partners. And one of the things that we found to be very helpful and effective is a 360 evaluation process where everybody in our management group and above gets evaluated not only by the folks above them, but also by their subordinates. And we found that really, honestly, to be very, very helpful. People don't change overnight. So the people that are kind of a little tougher with people, tomorrow after the evaluation, they don't change. But you do at least set some parameters, some thinking, make them aware of how they're affecting people. And we found it, frankly, to be very, very helpful in our situation.